Hey guys, Deathdealer here. Welcome to another episode of AutoCraft. This is episode 30, and today we're going to be making a little change to our raid farm setup. And when I say a little change, we're going to be building an entire new raid farm. Now the reason for this is we go through a lot of emeralds, redstone. We don't even really need to worry about gunpowder, but emeralds and redstone are what we go through the most of. And this farm itself simply isn't fast enough to keep up with our needs. Now, I need several shulker boxes of emeralds and redstone at a time, and this just simply can't do it within a reasonable amount of time. So today we're going to be working on a brand new raid farm. Also, before we get started, I'd like to announce that the applications for AutoCraft are currently open. So if you're interested in this server, if you're a long time fan, and if you're above the age of 16, and if you're a content creator and you're interested in this server, head on over to the application form. I'll leave it linked in the pinned comment and fill out the application. So this new raid farm design is going to require me to collect a lot of materials and do quite a bit of prep work because, yeah, it's a little bit more complex than the previous raid farm because rather than spawning one raid at a time, it will spawn multiple raids at a time using something known as raid stacking. It's similar to the way you used to stack villages with the old school iron farms back before 1.14. So we're going to be using multiple villagers. We need 3 villagers for this, so that will technically be 3 villages. So it should spawn several raids at a time. I'm also going to need to go and collect some sponge blocks because we need to clear out a part of the ocean for this system. So whilst I'm doing that, whilst I'm collecting all the materials, we're going to jump into a redstone testing world so that I can show off this design and describe how the whole thing works. So as you can see, this raid farm is a bit bigger than the last one, and yeah, it's a lot bigger. It makes use of some other villages and stuff down there. Now this was designed by CCS Covenant of the Trinity Union Minecraft server. That's another technical Minecraft server. I'll leave a link to his video in the description. And yeah, let's just say I am really impressed by this farm. So it can produce over 200,000 emeralds per hour, which is insane. And it has the equivalent drop rates of about 25 witch huts. So if you were to set up 25 witch farms and witch huts, that would roughly equate to this farm. So even if you don't have a quad witch hut on your server or your world, if you build this thing, you're going to be set for all the witch drops you need for the entire world's lifespan. So let's go and take a closer look to see how this thing works. So down at the bottom of the world, we have one villager there and one villager there. And there should be another one fairly close by as well. Yeah, there is one right here. Now what happens is you're standing still, so there's no like drop mechanics or anything like that. And basically the raid is triggered and the raid is shifted until it spawns up here. So basically concentrates all the spawns from the 3 villages into one central location. If we go and take a look up here, you'll see there are some portals. And there's some floating snow. I recently did a tutorial and a little Minecraft shot on how to make this stuff. So what happens is the raid spawns here and they'll fall through this snow and go into the kill chamber, as you can see right there. Now you may be wondering how we handle the Ravagers because they are a big part of raids. Essentially we send them through this nether portal and they go into a massive block of lava. We could save them, so we could set up a system where we save the Ravagers because you never know when you're going to need them. But yeah, we'll send them all to the nether, so that makes it easy to handle some stuff. We also have some Vex suppressors, so we have 4 of them. Now basically what happens here is we have an evoker that is aggroed by these iron golems. So he'll try to attack it and we'll try to spawn Vexes, which will get trapped in these boats. This means that Vexes won't be able to spawn and kill us when we're in the farm here. In the farm, what we need to do is we need to make sure we have a sweeping edge 3 sword, like this one, sharpness 5, and looting. Looting is very nice. You don't need looting, but looting will help you get more rays. And what you basically do is you walk up towards this right here, and you basically kill the minecart. That will apply damage, like splash damage, to the raids inside this farm, and it will kill them. Now this only works in survival mode in Minecraft 1.16. This won't work in Bedrock. It probably won't work in Bedrock. The mechanics are a bit different. Now because we have a lot of drops coming from this thing, I'm trying to keep my explanation as brief as possible because this clip has gone on for quite a bit. Since we have a lot of drops coming from this thing, we need quite a hefty storage system. So here is a storage system here, but we're not going to be working with this one. We're going to be making a different one by one of the other, technical creators, I should say, because their designs are really good. But yeah, essentially you need to handle at least 200,000 emeralds per hour, a lot of, redstone, gunpowder, the whole lot. So what you're probably going to need to do is you're probably going to need to set up 2 times or 4 times like speed item sorters, along with shulker box loaders. That's what this thing uses. So we're going to need a lot of shulker boxes for this design. So we're going to have 1 shulker box loader system here, and there is the output down there. We're then going to take, say, the emerald blocks, or the emerald, and the redstone shulker boxes to another system that we'll use for crafting them into the block variants. But we'll handle that later on. But with that explanation out of the way, let's head back on to the AutoCraft server, gather all the materials we need, go over to the location where we're building this thing, and we can make a start. Alright, so I've gathered a few shulker boxes worth of materials. It's not all the materials we're going to need for this entire project, it's just enough so that we can get this thing started. Because I'm going to have to refer to the world download quite a lot so that I get this thing right. Now I do have a lightmatic, or a schematic of this thing, already imported into the world. I've got it layer by layer right now, and let's get rid of that menu, and we'll close that, and I've perfectly aligned it. Now if you're building this farm, keep it the same orientation and position as it is in the world download. Now it doesn't need to be the exact coordinates, but just make sure that the orientation is still north, and when you're placing this lower section, you come 1 block in from the chunk border. That means everything will be perfectly aligned, and it should be fine. Now, the chunk border thing, it should be fine if you're closer to it. It shouldn't really be an issue, but as long as you build the whole rest of the farm based off of this area here, you should be fine. Now the plan, what I'm going to do is we're going to do the bottom area first. I'm going to build the walls for this thing, get rid of the water. We're going to take this all the way down to bedrock, or almost all the way down to bedrock, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start placing in the villagers. So I'll bring the villagers over in the nether, and we'll set up a portal, put the villager into its position. I'll break the portal, move the portal up by like 10 or so blocks, and then do the same thing again, making sure everything is perfectly aligned. Now in terms of, building this thing, I normally like to do these in the form of third-person time lapses, but since we need to come in and out and do things in quick succession, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each section of the farm individually. So this section will be done along with the, the redstone system that goes all the way up. So that will be one section, and then we'll do the rest of it individually. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so after wrangling some villagers through the nether, we have 3 villagers, or 3 villages technically, in place. We have one at the bottom, right there. It's a villager that's inside a composter with a slab on top. There's another one right here, as you can see below the redstone, and then there's another one on top of that glowstone right here. Now the reason we have 3 villages, or 3 villagers compared to the one with the other raid farm, is basically this is a stackable raid farm, so you're basically stacking multiple raids on top of each other, so you're going to need multiple villagers for that, or villages. Now these systems here, well these 2 systems, the bottom one, don't really need to worry about that. Basically what happens is the point of interest, or the workstations, whenever a redstone signal is sent to these modules, the point of interest will flip. So one station will be pushed down, the other will be pulled up, and then that helps the farm run. Now the way we do this is we send a signal from the top of the farm, so all the way at the top. But the way we do this is by using a wall. Now if you place a block, or if you in this instance push a block into a wall, it updates the wall all the way down instantly from where you placed it. Above it, it won't have any effect. This is why this happens right at the top of the farm. So if I were to push a block in there, it'd instantly update everything all the way down. It would then trigger that observer, and the workstations will be flipped. And there you go, that's all there is to it. Now, next steps, if we turn on the render, that's the wrong button. I've been working layer by layer for this thing, but we still have quite a bit to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of this in the form of a third-person time lapse until we get to the kill chamber, because the kill chamber itself is going to be fairly interesting. Alright, so as you can see, I've made a lot of progress since the last clip. Rather than using the replay footage for this, I decided just to do this in the form of progress updates for this last part because this stuff is quite complex and showing all the intricacies using the replay mod just simply wasn't an option for us. Plus, I'm going in and out of the nether, so that messes about with it and it's really annoying to work with. But yeah, we have been making the kill chamber right here. In fact, let's work from where you saw last. So we actually had another villager right here that I didn't realise. So I had already put the 3 villagers in at the bottom, then I destroyed all of the infrastructure I used to get them here. I basically used a rail line from my portal, my base portal, and then brought it all the way over here. You guys know how far that distance is. From the previous farm it's about the same to here, and yeah, I had to put all that back in, bring another villager over and get him up here. Then I decided to move the portal back down right there because down there is where I have all my shulkers and things, and we started moving up. So this system here is how we get redstone to travel down the ways. So whenever we activate this trapdoor, it will retract and then the signal will be instantly transferred down to the bottom. And then the same with this here. Here's some other redstone bits here as well. And yeah, this system is quite complex. Obviously I'm going to leave a link to the video where CCS Covenant showed off this design in the description. I'm also going to leave a link to another video where someone called JCraft is explaining how this farm works along with giving a little bit of a tutorial, so I highly recommend you go and check that out. Now the kill chamber itself is nowhere near finished. Let's just pop into survival mode here. So this is where you're going to stand. We need to put a carpet here, so you'll stand on this trapdoor, if I can get up to it right here, and you'll be swiping at a minecart. Now, you need to make sure you have Sweeping Edge 3 in your sword because that will apply splash damage to the mobs that are in the kill chamber. I need to put a mob head here, so I'm probably going to use a wither skill and use that to align yourself. It's going to be water down here, and in there is the killing chamber. When we could just go up here, as you can see, this system is quite complex. I'm not even going to try to explain it. There's a lot of stuff here. Basically what happens is we just compact them into a smaller area so that we can kill them. That's what all of these redstone components do. Now, if we activate the actual schematic, there we go. As you can see, we have a lot more to do, so we need to actually build up the rest of the tower where the raids are going to spawn, and then we need to do the vex suppressors. Now the way we're going to do those is we need to build the entire farm first, then we need to open up at the bottom and trigger a raid. And then what we do is we basically go in with invisibility potions, name tag some evokers, and then it should be fairly easy to move them into place. That will take a lot of time, so I'm just going to do that bit off camera because working with these guys is quite annoying. So yeah, we're going to build up the tower. The next important bit is floating snow right here. Now floating snow is quite complex, so let's head into a creative world and I can show you how to make floating snow. Alright, so the process of making floating snow is quite simple. First of all, you're going to make some headless pistons. Now this setup here is exactly 5 wide, the exact width of floating snow we're going to need. So first of all, build a setup like this, and when we activate these pistons, they should become headless. A setup like this can be used for making or breaking bedrock, I should say, but we don't really need that for this system. So now let's move on to the next step. One thing I forgot to mention, you need to make sure the headless pistons are sticky pistons or else this thing will work. But yeah, once you've made your headless sticky pistons, make a setup like this with regular pistons, redstone blocks to activate said pistons, and some slime blocks. Then you want to place your snow and some supporting blocks around it, because without the supporting blocks the snow won't float all by itself. Now fortunately for our design, we make the actual drop chute itself is fairly small like this, so this shouldn't really be much of an issue. Once you have this setup ready to go, all you need to do is deactivate these headless pistons, and what will happen is the headless pistons will go back to the normal, the other pistons will break, and the snow should be floating. So let's do that like so. There you have it. Now what you can do is you've got to want to tidy this stuff up, so make sure you don't update that snow whatsoever, so don't place a block next to it and don't break any of these blocks. So all you do now is break blocks around it like so, do the same here, and then break these ones. And there you have it. You've now made some floating snow with it. So with that, let's head back onto the AutoCraft server, get the raid farm mostly finished up, and who knows, we might even be able to test it at some point. And after a lot of stressful block placement, most of the raid farm and the overworld side is now complete. I actually had to do the snow thing twice because I messed up, and then I had to break the piston heads again and do the whole thing. So yeah, make sure you do it properly this time. Now we've got these dispensers at the top here. Oh, I'm moving way too fast. And these are going to be full of water buckets, but we're not going to put them in yet because I don't want to activate the system accidentally and then have the water destroy these snow blocks down here. So we're going to put that in last. One thing to stop that from breaking is obviously this thing. If the server happens to restart, or if you're disconnected while using this, the water will basically pop out and then it will break the floating snow. So in order to stop that from happening, you're going to need a chunk loader, which we're going to build that later on, and that will stop this farm from breaking. Obviously, it won't work if the server restarts, so we just need to make sure we don't use the farm around that time. Speaking of server restarts and things, we recently transferred from one server host to another, or we migrated I should say, and yeah, let's just say the experience is a lot better with this one, and we're saving a little bit of money in the meantime. But yeah, next steps for this farm is, before we can even run it and get the evokers we need to set up the stuff in the nether, because we're not going to be handling any ravagers. What we're going to do is we're going to send them through the portals, and then they're going to burn in a massive pit of lava, because let's just say working with ravagers is annoying. This does mean, however, that if we ever need to collect ravagers for a project in the server at some point in the future, it'll be easy to do so because we send them all to the end rather than with the other raid farm design just leaving them to despawn, which I really don't like. Also, before we do a test of this thing, I'm going to need to go down and make sure all the villagers are still, alive and kicking, because there has been several day-night cycles, and make sure all the points of interest are in the proper locations, along with double checking all the parts of the farm. But yeah, we are making some really good progress with this thing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing works. Also, the storage system, we might have time to do it today. I'm probably going to do a quick and simple one, maybe. It all depends how much time we have left in this episode. But yeah, let me go into the nether, get the nether side set up, and then I can get the evokers in place, and then we can do a test. So after spending a considerable amount of time getting these evokers into place, because let's just say they're interesting, this thing is technically complete. Now, each of these cells, as you can see, they're working flawlessly at the moment. So the evoker is aggroed by the iron golem, and it spawns vexes, and all of the vexes that can spawn get trapped in boats. There's 5 boats in each block, so there is 20 boats per cell. It's 4 cells, so yeah, this thing is done. I am really happy with this. We haven't put in the water at the top yet, and we haven't done the chunk loader, and obviously we haven't done the storage system. I'm actually kind of out of time for this project today. I've already been working on this for like 2 weeks because, life gets in the way. So yeah, I need to get this out, so I'm going to be doing that. But to finish off the rest of the episode, we're going to head on over to the shopping district, because I know I've made some money in my beacon shop, and I do believe there is a new minigame in town. Alright, so we're over in the shopping district next to the nether injector, and as you can see, a new build has popped up. So, we have lots of different colours, we have lots of different pairs of pants, for all you Americans out there, that's what you call them, and we have a status indicator up here. So this game was designed by Clumsy, and another member of the server. You can find a link to everyone in the description, by the way, if you're wanting to watch some other people other than myself. This game is basically, you come and you press the button and you get one of these things, right? It's pretty simple. And the idea is you want to come back and try and level up and stuff. But you also get some additional things, like you can be taking a level down and other things like that. Why don't you go and watch Clumsy's channel for all the details on this game. But yeah, as you can see, it's right at the beginning. It was about there earlier on when I last looked, but someone, probably the mechanic, he's been the only person online whilst I've been working, he's probably came along and took this. So we're going to be waiting to see if we can get one that's a bit higher up. So we won't be doing that today, but we'll be getting to it at some point. This shop, the beacon shop, has been making quite a lot of diamonds, and hold on, yeah, look at that. So this shop was sabotaged, or trapped, sorry, during sabotage. So every so often, I think it's this one, and then there's a few other beacon beams that have glass panes in them, So if you're flying full speed into this, you'd probably die. I didn't realise this until sabotage had already ended, so we're going to need to fix that at some point. I don't know how far the glass panes extend up into this thing. But yeah, we made 4 diamonds here. Let's see, we made a lot of diamonds here. Oh my damn. Let's take all those, plus all those things there. Right, so I need 27 beacons, and 3, 6, 9, 12 skulls. Let us resupply this right now, and we can go and drop off these profits at the Captains of Industry headquarters. Alright, so I've already taken the liberty of splitting the diamonds 4 ways, so that's for myself, Rustic Splashes, and we always put by a little bit for like a stockpile for our group, because yeah, you never know when we're going to need extra diamonds for group projects. So yeah, let's put these in here. In fact, let's put an additional one in there just so that's even, because what I normally do is if it's uneven, if there's like an extra diamond or 2, I'll normally just throw them in there just to be fair. So there we go, let's put these diamonds away, and oh, would you look at that, I have some extra diamonds there as well. That's awesome. So yeah, we've made 23 diamonds, that's pretty good. I'm really happy with what I managed to get done today. We finally got that new raid farm built. I've been hanging out for a new raid farm for quite a while. I've been burning through my emerald supplies, but that's no longer an issue. Plus the fact that it gives so much redstone is like 25 times more powerful than a witch hut in terms of drops. It's insane, so I'm really happy with that. Obviously we never got the storage system done today. I'm going to be doing that in between episodes because that's quite a big project, and it's going to require a lot of shulker shells. So I'm also going to have to go in busting between episodes rather than showing it in an episode, because that takes up some valuable time. So I'll probably be doing that while this video uploads, which is quite nice. In other news, obviously this is episode 30, so it's a really big milestone. Traditionally my Let's Plays don't normally last that long. The last time I did an episode or like a Let's Play or series last this long was probably back in 2017. So yeah, this is a really good sign for this server. And not only that, the server is also quickly approaching its 6-month birthday, so 6 months of being active, and I'm really happy with it. Now if you're interested in this server, if you're interested in the stuff we've done, oh hello Zombie Biglin, then why don't you fill out the application form to join this server. We have an application, you need to be the age 16 or over, and you need to be a content creator. If you're interested, fill it out, there's a link to that in the description. But yeah, next time I think I'm going to do some minigame stuff. So obviously we're going to do the pants minigame thing. I think that's what I don't actually know what it's called. And there's also another minigame in the minigame district, which we haven't visited yet this season. But you're going to have to wait until next time to see us play that game. I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the AutoCraft so far. Make sure you go and watch everyone else on the server. On the left hand screen right now, there are 2 videos, one that YouTube wants you to watch and one that I think you should watch. Make sure you go and watch them, and remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully you will enjoy the videos.